Welcome to the TTP Tennis Podcast. I'm in South Beach, Miami with Guy Tennis, otherwise known as Guy Cunha, or Guy Cunha, otherwise known as Guy Tennis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I usually like to ask my guests is, how did you get started playing tennis?
This is interesting. It's cool that I'm going to tell this story. So coming from Brazil, all the kids play soccer. I suck at it, always did. Always as a kid, that's not what I thought of, but I definitely sucked. And three of my best friends invited me to join their tennis class. There was one spot remaining. And luckily I was a member of this club where I played my whole career. And that's how we started. I played, I loved it. I was 9 years old.
You started when you were 9 years old? I was a little bit
late, yeah, for sure. And I loved it from probably the first lesson. All my friends quit. Two friends quit after maybe 2 months. Another one played another year. And that was about it. And then I stayed. And 2 years later, I flipped my school schedule so I could train with the main team of the club. And that's how it got started.
What's the tennis culture like in Brazil?
Very nice, actually. It's a lot.
It's popular?
I want to say popular. It's definitely less popular than here. It's mainly in clubs. We have pretty much no public courts. I'm not kidding, there is maybe 30 public courts in the whole country. And
Okay.
we're talking like a 200 million people country.
Brazil's
So
a big country.
there's literally no public courts. It's all in clubs, which makes it nice if you're a member of one, but if you're not, the barrier is close to impossible.
Wow. And so you started playing tennis, and then where did it go from there? I guess you were playing like tournaments, playing competitively.
Yeah, I started playing at 9, and then at 11 I started playing tournaments. I started having some decent results maybe when I was 13. Like first few years I was only get kicked, like kicked out like completely. And then started have some results. Then at 14 I won nationals in doubles, and then that's where I started like really liking it. Like I liked from the beginning, but then that's when you start like, okay, I'm hooked now, you know?
Wow, that's pretty. So you won the doubles national 14 and under in Brazil?
I won 14 and under, then I won 16 and under, and I won 23 and under. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
So were you like, what was your ranking in Brazil?
Singles, my best, I think I was 18. 18 in the country, and then doubles, I got to number 3. Yeah. Number 3 and under 18, I think.
And then you played in college as well, right?
Yeah, I played here at Kaiser University in West Palm Beach. Played 4 years. We had a good team. We made national finals 2 out of my 4 years.
Is it, because I know there's like a different league. Is it NCAA or the NIA?
It's NAIA.
NIA.
So it's not that much different from NCAA. It's very similar to D2, the type of school that are part of it. And like the best teams are pretty comparable. Like maybe the best 5 NAIA teams are very comparable to the best 5 NCAA D2 teams.
What was the college recruitment like process?
So I was sponsored by a stringing brand called Genesis, and in January 2014, I came in August 2014. Welcome to Miami. January of 2014, I took a trip here, and then I visited a few D2 schools. And in the end of the trip, I went to see the Genesis headquarters, which was here in Dania Beach. And they had a partnership with, at the time, the college was called Northwood. And he was like, hey, let me give the call to the coach, maybe we can meet him tomorrow. And that's how it happened. I went, I tried it out the next day, and he was like, oh, I want you, and that's how it happened.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so now that was in 2014, so that was like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
And you've been living in Miami since, or you're moving around a little bit?
So we lived in West Palm, where it was the school for 4 years.
For
4 years, and then we moved here in 2018.
Okay. Nice. And so now you're a full-time coach.
Full-time coach from the moment I graduated. Took a few interviews, could never do it.
What did you study in school?
I actually have a lot of degrees that I never used. I have a double major in sports management and international business, and I have a minor in marketing and finance. But I never used any of them.
Nah, just
Not necessarily.
tennis.
Yeah.
I hear
I guess I could say I used some of the skills I learned in sports management, but that's about it.
Yeah, I hear that. I was when I was in school, I was like playing like some high-level junior tournaments, and then when I went to school, I studied. I got a degree in physics.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I was a software engineer for a couple of years, and then I quit and started talking about tennis and drinking beer.
The dream.
It's the life, man.
That's a dream.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't pay as much as a software engineer does, but
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. The yet is the word there.
Yeah, but spending time on the tennis court, it's nothing really compares to it. Like you're outside, you get to be outside. You get to talk to people. You're engaging, and like especially as a coach, you know, you're able to like improve people's tennis and make them happier and make them, you know, more engaged in the sport, which is pretty awesome.
It's very fulfilling for sure. Much more fulfilling than just sitting on the desk and getting a paycheck.
Yeah, and so like you also have like a tennis page on Instagram, Gi Tennis. How did that get started, and how long have you been doing that?
I've been talking about it, doing it maybe 2 years ago. Like, oh, I got to start. I never did it, and then the summer of 2022, I was like, no, I'm gonna start it. And then the summer here, it's a little bit less busy. It's way too hot. A lot of people travel, so I was like, I had more time. And I started picking up. Then I went to the US Open in 2022, and like I made a couple of videos that got to over 1 million views over there.
Nice.
I'm like, that started impulsionating. Like the first, I want to say 2,000 followers are the hardest. Once you get past that little barrier, which is not that little, probably the amount of time it takes you to get to 2,000, unless you get very lucky and like really make a few very viral videos, probably takes almost the same as getting to 10K. Like it took me maybe 5 months to get to 2,000, and then 5 months later I had 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Yeah, for me, the first 1,000 followers was like
It's
such a grind.
It's tough, you know, because you got no recognition. You're getting maybe like 2,000 views and like maybe 50 likes. You get stuff, and then you make a few videos, they go viral, and then that goes on.
Yeah, and so what? Tell us about like what kind of content do you make?
Mainly coaching content, a lot of technique-wise. I feel like it's a topic that not that many people talk about it or talk well about it, and I try to simplify it for the normal person. Like you see some videos talking about technique, and they talk about like the 33-degree angle off the arm. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, how a normal person is gonna understand that? Or like they talk like the shape of the fade and the fake, and I'm like, dude, like nobody even understands that. Like a full-time coach doesn't understand. Could you imagine a kid getting that? There's no way. So I try to make simple but effective tips in normal words that don't complicate things, and that's the main thing. And then I have a few funny videos, like just to break the ground, but usually content.
What's the most common mistake you see beginners make on the tennis court?
Thinking that power comes from the arms, and also the main reason why people get hurt. If you actually watch professional tennis players, a very little amount of players get tennis elbow, to almost none. And is the most common injury in amateur tennis because they try to muscle the ball. Everything comes from the arm. They don't understand that power actually comes from the legs. It starts all the way on the ground until you reach your racket. So understanding that's probably the biggest mistake. And then technique-wise, not accepting that you need to use continental grip for serving volleys, but that takes a little bit of more time. But most common is definitely try to play from the arm.
What was the best piece of advice that you got from a coach?
There's a couple. One, I actually have videos about it. One was I was very little. I was maybe 10 years old. Like he was like, you should grab the racket like a little bird. I have a video about it. Like talk about it.
Bird.
Yeah, because a little bird that you don't want to let escape, but you don't want to kill it. And that's how tight you should grip the racket. So like if you grip too tight, you kill the bird. If you grip tight enough for the bird not to fall, that's how tight you should grip it. Obviously, at contact point, different levels, maybe you got to grip a little bit tighter so the racket doesn't move. But that was a good piece of advice. And another one he told me was to not ever think that one ball should be the last ball in the point. So whenever you get an approach, what I see a lot of people make mistakes, you actually made a few of them now when we played, was that ball you try to hit a winner. When it doesn't need to be a winner. You move the person to the right side with good margin, 6 feet between the line, and that's enough to close on the next ball. And that's how you should think about playing the game. No ball that you actually hit it should be like the last ball on the point, because that makes you miss a lot, so much more. Shout out to Edinho. We'll send that video to him later.
That's a really good one. That's actually something I was thinking about when we were playing, because I mean there are a couple times where I was slapping it. I was moving you around.
Yeah.
But then there are other times where I'm like, okay, this point needs to end right now, and it's either I win or
because you're
I
probably
lose.
getting tired. You didn't want to run maybe 2 more balls.
Oh man, I'm so out of shape I was traveling for a couple months, and I was just eating and just I was walking around. I was like, I wasn't doing nothing, but I gained like, I don't know, 10 pounds, and I came back only like a week ago, so I'm like trying to get back into shape. And you could hear the commentary. Fuck, I'm so out of shape.
I actually talk about it when it's 7-6 to him. I play a point that I could have won like 3 balls before. I'm like, this point's gonna pay dividends in the end. He's gonna die after this, and I won like 4 points in a row afterwards.
Oh man, yeah. And so going back to like what you said with like, don't think that any shot is the last ball of the point.
Sure, there's exception. You got a floater for an overhead right next to the ball. Yeah, I should put that ball away. But like no ground strokes. You should actually think you should hit out. Let's rephrase that. You hit winners by not trying to hit winners. Like if you move the person well around, again, there is exceptions. You're a 7-foot tall guy that can hit. It's a different story. I'm a 5'8" guy. I'm not very tall. I don't have the power to do it. But like, so if you move the person well and you play with good margins, little by little the holes will open until you actually get the right opportunity to go for it. Like so many people miss the short ball. Like I have a few videos about it. Like why they miss the short ball? Because they go for too much. Maybe they don't feel confident in the net. That's why they go for that much, right? But that ball is like, it's a ball to set up. It's called an approach. Otherwise, it's called something else. It's an approach to win the ball. So you approach the ball to their weaker side or the side they're not at, and then you finish on the ball. That's how you should be thinking about those balls.
What was one of the toughest challenges that you had to overcome in your own tennis career?
That's a really great question. Wow, I never thought about that. I don't know if I would call. I guess it is. Like when you are in high school or middle school, like how you have to handle going to school, doing well at school, or doing at least decent at school, and still being able to travel maybe 15, 20 weeks a year when you're playing competitive tennis. It's probably one of the hardest things to juggle around. And then on the tennis game, I don't know, probably the day-to-day grind of like having to work for it. To be very honest, I was not the best at it. My students, please don't hear that. I was definitely not the best at it, like I was definitely chubby, and my coach would tell me like, hey, you gotta lose weight and all that stuff, and you learn it the hard way, like that's probably why I did well in doubles and I never did that well in singles, because I was just overweight, like couldn't handle it. And that's probably one of the things that I should have fixed and definitely taking more care of my fitness. If I had done those 2 things, it would probably have been a different story, to be honest.
So would you say if you can go back and start from scratch, would you say that's the biggest thing that you would do differently?
If you would think just tennis level, yeah. Like I would have focused a lot more on fitness and eating well and sleeping well and like doing all this stuff right, because the game counts. Like, but if you don't have those 2 things, when you start playing a higher level, it eats you up. Like it just there's no other way around it. When you start playing higher level, everybody's good. There's nobody's bad anymore. So like if you're a little bit behind on the shots, you're always getting a little bit late, or you're getting tired too easy. Like all these things will cost you in the long run. So if you think tennis career, that's it. But at the same time, like I can't complain about what tennis gave to me. Maybe if I was better, maybe I would have played D1, God knows where. Maybe I would have played. I got offers to go to the north to play D1 full rides, but I wanted Florida. Maybe if I was better, I would have played, I don't know, a northeast place that I wouldn't be so happy about. I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have done all that stuff. So it probably doesn't. In the end of the day, it works out. I moved to Florida. I coach now. Maybe I would be playing pro now, struggling, being 300 in the world, not making 1 penny. Like there's all these things that can. It works out in the end.
And what's your favorite part about tennis?
That you can always improve.
Yeah.
Like I think there is no plateau of what you can do. Like my client just arrived now to play. He's 6 years old and had cancer, fought for it. Now he's coming back to it and improving every day. Like this is one of the most fulfilling things as a coach, and it's also it's nicest about playing tennis. Like you can help each other. Like you can always improve. Obviously, sometimes to see your improvement takes much longer. As you start getting better, if you can get better like 0.5%, that 0.5% is huge. Like if you're serving, let's say 70%, and now you're serving 71%, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like it in the long run, it's huge. You win so many more easy points, and that's probably what I think I like the most.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they get like pigeonholed into like the way they think that like they want to see the results like quickly. I mean, nowadays everybody wants everything.
Well,
like,
it's TikTok, right? The
quick.
TikTok generation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants everything so quick, and tennis is great because it really teaches the other way around.
yeah.
There is no shortcut.
And
Like there is no shortcut. And that's one thing that it's annoying on Instagram or whatever you see tips. Like everybody's looking for that magic formula, and there is no magic formula. Yes, there are coaches that know a little bit more. Yes, there are coaches that are going to be better for you because they will understand you better. Yes. Now, if you're looking for that magic thing, if I fix my wrist on this thing, now I don't miss a forehand anymore. Like, these things don't exist. Like
Yeah.
they don't not exist. Like somebody would have found it. Tennis is pretty much solved in a way. Like there is the fundamentals you gotta follow. There's so many ways that you can hit the forehand and still get the right fundamentals. But in the end of the day, so many things that it's work,
there's no shortcuts. You got to spend the hours on the court. You got to spend the hours off the court.
which are probably even more important.
Yeah, definitely. There's like I've said this before. Like failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
100%.
And so if you're not doing the things that you need to do off the court,
For sure.
it doesn't matter what you do on court because
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
And another thing that I see, as part of this like long process is like if you're playing, let's say, you get a lesson once a week, maybe twice a week, at that rate, because you're not playing so much, you're just like, it's maintenance. You're staying at the same level.
Right.
And you need to do like 3-4 times a week to start to see that like little improvement. And then
Yeah.
once a week is just maintenance. And if you do like once every 2 weeks, now that
I mean-
time you got to get back to the same level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing, like, sometimes my clients, they get busy and they have to work and they can't play. And it becomes like, every time we're playing, it's almost like we're just revisiting what we did before because it makes no sense to try to learn something new when you can't do what you should already be doing, right? So you got to put in the time. Even if you're an amateur, you got to get at least like an hour in, like play an hour back and then maybe play some matches. If you can play some matches in between your lessons, that's the best thing. Because you don't learn just from lessons. You gotta play.
Yeah,
You gotta play. If you don't play, there is no way.
You got to do it on your own. You
You can take 6 hours of lessons a week. If you do not play, you are not learning how to play the game. It does not matter. You can be the best coach in the world. You gotta figure out on your own a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it feels like I think one of the best teachers is just experience.
Yeah,
It's
no
like
doubt.
Going, playing tournaments, just getting heartbroken and just
Yeah.
getting out and keep on fighting for it and just a coach like the coaches, they'll teach you, but at the end of the day they can't do it for you.
Yep.
You need to do it yourself and like, tennis wouldn't be tennis if like you didn't have the ups and downs. Like if you're not failing then you're not doing something right in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things like the pressure of a match, even if you're playing recreationally, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like it's completely different. You might not feel like that in a match. You might not feel you're making a mistake in a match. It's just when you're practicing, you don't feel that because you don't have the pressure. You're playing free.
Yeah.
Now when you go play a match, I haven't missed one forehand all week, and you go play and you can make one. And it's just because that pressure happens,
Yeah, and what's your least favorite thing about tennis?
Least favorite thing about tennis,
What's the thing that gets under your skin?
I think it's no matter how long you played, if we stop playing for a while, especially your timing drops instantly. Like instantly. You get it back, yes, but your timing at the moment drops instantly.
Yeah.
Like there is no way. If you stop playing for a while, yes, you get back, but it'll take you a while.
I was actually, I was pretty like happy with the way I played today because I haven't been playing. I think in the last like month,
Yeah.
I played maybe twice. No, once.
Oh wow.
I played once and it was a few days ago in New York.
Yeah.
And then I played for 10 minutes today at the Racket X thing. So, and even then I felt like I'm like, shit, my timing is so bad. But luckily when I came here, I was like, you motivated me and I'm like, listen, I'm not going to come here and play like a scrub. I got to.
It was good competition. It was fun.
Yeah. What are your plans for the foreseeable future with your tennis? You want to continue coaching and growing your tennis brand?
Yeah, what I'm looking for next is to get my own facility so I can run a club but / academy, but a little bit different, more like individualized, not like a factory, like take not as many players but make it very, very, very nice, especially at least to the players that really want to play, and then have a recreational side a little bit more open, really fun and that. My motto is have fun, get better, so like if you're not like the if you don't really want to play, don't want to really do the sacrifice, we can still get you better and make you have fun, even though we know your cap is much lower. But that's fine for 99% of people, and that's completely cool. You know, like, so that's definitely next. And then this summer, we're gonna run a summer camp for the first time, so we're excited for that.
Nice.
And yeah, and I'll keep coaching for sure. But mainly now it's trying to grow the business to something bigger. Fortunately, I can't grow myself anymore. I'm just one, so I need to get a facility so I can actually make it nicer.
You mentioned you have a wife. Do you have a kid?
I don't have a kid. I have 2 dogs, 2 big dogs.
2 big dogs. Do you, if you do have a kid, do you want them to play tennis?
Yes, you play tennis
To what? Are you going to coach them
until they're 10.
until they're 10? Why until they're 10?
Because I'll teach them all the right fundamentals, and then when they reach a competitive side, I'll throw to a coach that wants it. When
Why?
because I don't want to lose. I don't have kids, so I'm guessing it, but I don't want to lose the relationship with my kid as a dad. And when you're the coach and the dad, for the kid to differentiate, that's very hard. You see, yes, there are coaches, there are dads and daughters and kids that made it, but most of them have no relationship with the dad. And for me, the relationship with the dad is probably more important. Serena doesn't talk to her dad. Alex doesn't talk to his dad. All these guys that make it, yes, Tsitsipas talks to his dad, but you know, like it's tough to manage both things for a kid. Imagine like the coach is screaming at you all day, as he should, because sometimes you're messing it up. But then you get home and you have the same guys screaming at you to clean your room, to fix your mess, to wash your dishes. It's tough for a kid to differentiate both things. So I want to teach them all the fundamentals. I want us to become competitive. I'll give him to a good coach that I'll trust.
Has tennis taught you any larger life lessons? I mean, that was a pretty good,
I think
life
there is
lesson.
no. It teaches that hard work pays off, and there is not really a shortcut in life. You gotta work for it. Yes, you get lucky sometimes, and luck does play a part. You get lucky that you'll be in the right place in the right time, but you make your own luck.
I've been pretty lucky so far since coming here. I had a lot of cool things that are happening. I love this place. This place.
Miami is awesome, man.
It's the
Hope
Magic
you
City.
move here.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Magic City.
Yeah, and so that will conclude
Awesome, man.
this one. Any shout outs you want to give? Anything?
Thank you for having me. I mean, say thank you to my sponsors that have been with me for a while, Yonex, Osaka for paddle, and On that I just signed a contract this past week. So this one I'm very excited about.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's it.
All right.
To my wife, obviously.
On the count of 3, we're gonna say stay tipsy. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Stay tipsy. Thanks, man.
It's gonna come out great.
I think it was good. That was pretty good.